Hey everyone, Once Bitten here with another battle report. So this is my last preparatory game before the tournament this coming weekend. It's not the last game I played. I actually have played two games since this, but I didn't even bother taking pictures because I knew I would not have time to make battle reports. And I'm personally, we're moving across the country this week, and so my time is very, very limited. So this game was played last weekend. It's obviously my tournament list. It's against, there's another guy that I've never played before who will also be at the tournament and who brought a Slaan-led Lizardmen army. So we thought we would throw it down and see how things panned out. So starting on the right, he's got, well, up front, 2 units of 6 chameleon skinks. Then he's got 10 skinks, or 12 skinks with blowpipes or javelins, I don't remember. Then he's got 39 Saurus warriors with spears, and he has a hero level character there. And I don't know his build. I saw it during the game, but in all honesty, that hero never fought in combat, and so it didn't stick in my mind what he was equipped with. Then there's the obligatory Temple Guard with Slaan, and this Slaan has all the tricks. He's got he's using Lore of Light, which I thought was very cool. I think that's a great lore for lizards. Life is obviously very powerful, but light isn't quite so cliche and has some great synergy. He knows all the spells. He gets a +1 to cast every time, +1 die. He has the cupped hands, which I hate. He has the thing that shuts down my magic phase, so if I ever roll sixes with my level 4, then those sixes won't count. He's just brutal. Anyway, then he has 3 salamanders with 12 handlers. Behind it, he has a chief on his stegodon, who's the battle standard bearer, and then 10 more skinks. So, apart from the temple guard and the the things you always see, the stegodon, the temple guard, a horde of warriors. Um, Besides that, it actually kind of seemed like kind of an interesting list. The 3 salamanders kind of scare me, laying 3 templates down every time with really no harm should you roll a misfire. So wasn't sure how I was going to deal with that. So on the far left, I got some harpies, a Tuscarora chariot. In the building, I've got my bestigors with my general. They've got the standard of discipline, so that gives leadership 9. I didn't love putting them in the building, but I did want them near his stegodon, and I really just kind of ran out of space on the table. I've got 20 gore with extra hand weapons next to him, and in with them I've got a level 2. I've got my horde of gore extra hand weapon with my battle standard bearer that gives him +1 strength. And what's funny is I always put him on a corner so I can minimize the number of attacks thrown at him. And this time I put him a couple guys in so I could spread my reroll a little wider to the right. And it ended up kind of hurting me later. So it's kind of funny. Like I never do that, and I did it, and it hurt me. Anyway, I've got 5 Minotaurs with my Doombull with my typical build. And on the far right, I've got a unit of Harpies. So Lizardman get to go first. He moves his Skinks up as much as he can. He's going to pick on my Minotaurs. His Salamanders move up. I know during the shooting phase he does shoot with them, but they're still so far away that it was tough to do many wounds. So during the magic phase with the Lore of Light, I don't know which spell this was exactly, maybe Burning Gaze. I know he got the net off, but anyway, so he does 5 wounds to my Minotaurs in the magic phase, and then does an extra couple wounds from the Skinks in the shooting phase. And that's okay. That's kind of what this unit is here for. And then the Salamanders, yeah, they do a whopping 3. They were just kind of far away. I felt very lucky, but again, I really don't know what I'm going to do about them. They're far enough away. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to charge them, or I can, but it's not necessarily likely. So we go to Beastmen turn 1. On the right, I kind of made a mistake. I took my Doombull and charged both of those chameleon skink units, and he fled with both, and so not a big deal that he's out on his own, but yeah. I charged him in the wrong order, and it has me facing out instead of in. Anyway, you can see on the left my bestigors come out of the house, and they zoomed across the table. And my initial thought when I was doing that was that even if he brings his steg and his temple guard in, I'll probably be steadfast and be able to countercharge. And then when I counted the number of ranks, I realized I'm barely more than steadfast now, and after combat, there's no way I'm going to be. So kind of a mistake. The good news is there's a house behind me, and so if he charges and I feel like I can't take it, I can flee, bounce through the house, and shouldn't run off the table. There on the left, my harpies charged his skinks. You notice the salamanders are gone. My chariot charged them, as did my. No, it didn't. Yeah, the chariot charged him and they fled. They went through the house. They're still on the table. You notice the general left the Bestigor unit and joined the smaller unit of Gore. That's because I see the Bestigors getting in combat, and I didn't want to lose my general, you know, that early in the game. So otherwise, it just looks like this. When I was charging after my Doombull charged the chameleon skinks, my harpies were charging skinks, and he was just fleeing left and right because he knows it's going to be easy to rally him. And during the magic phase, the only spell I was able to get off was the +1 strength and toughness on the Bestigor. So, you know, I'm toughness 5, strength 7. They could probably do a good number on the Stegodon, but if he brings the Stegodon and the Temple Guard in, it just, I don't know, that'd be tough. Now up here on the left, it was funny. My Harpies fly in, they do 5 wounds to these guys, which I thought was fantastic. And then the remaining guys, you figure 4 of them can fight, did 3 wounds to me. So I won, he was steadfast, and he's going to win that one eventually. So good Lizardman turn 2. Yeah, he charged with the Temple Guard and the Steg, and I just fled from the Steg. It didn't seem worth it. Like I said, I really felt I wouldn't run off the table. The funny thing is, when I moved through the house, I actually, if I was a full inch away from the house, I would have barely been off the table. But if I'm like 3/4 of an inch away from the house, then I'm still on. And so I just said that to my opponent, and he said, you know, stay on. I don't want him, you know, that's fine. I don't want to be that nitpicky about it. And the funny thing is, we both forgot that I should take dangerous terrain tests because of the house. So I should have lost 1/6 of the unit, but then at the same time, it should have been not even close to being off the table. So didn't end up affecting anything, but something interesting. And then the Temple Guard also charged my small unit of Gore with my general, and I fled because there was just no way I was going to be able to stand up to anything there. Yeah, so it looks like that. His warriors didn't even try to charge my Doombull. He really just kind of stayed back, which I think is smart. My Doombull really is perfect. He's an anti-horde guy. He's just perfect for that role. So yeah, I mean, if I charged the chameleon skinks in the correct order, I'd be facing his temple guard. So on my next turn, I could have a choice of whom to charge. But as it is, if he's going to charge anybody, it's going to be those Saurus warriors. So it looks like that. During the magic phase, whatever spell that is, I think it's the always strikes first spell, or whatever it is, doesn't matter. But anyway, he miscast. He has the cupped hands, and he rolled a 1. So I definitely appreciated that. So he loses a few temple guard. Really, other than that, it doesn't really affect him a whole lot. And over here, my harpies finally died to these 4 skinks. And we go to Beastmen turn 2. Yeah, during the magic phase, he got off one of the buff spells on his horde unit, and I just decided I didn't really want the Doombull in there, so I just angled him so he could have a chance to countercharge the Temple Guard or the Saurus Warriors on my next turn. Otherwise, the Chariot and my Horde both tried to charge his Temple Guard unit, and they both had a failed charge. And you see there's only 1 buff on the Temple Guard. I don't remember at the time what it was, but there's really 3 main buffs he can put on him. If he has one of them, I'm not worried about it. It's when he gets 2 or 3 that he gets some synergies that are really nasty. So anyway, I thought this was a great time. He was relatively weak. I know he'll do a lot of wounds to me, but I should just do tons to him. And overall, you know, we'll win the war of attrition, I think, and failed the charge. So a little bit bummed about that. The good news is both my units rallied. The General's Gore unit and the Bestigor. The Bestigor out of the game until really turn 4 now, because it's going to take them a turn to move into the building, a turn to get out of the building, and then I guess it'd be turn 5 before they could charge anything. Worst case scenario, they're saving their points, and you know, really, I'm not worried about anything he has on the table except for the 3 units you can see right there: the Steg, the Temple Guard, and the Warriors. My Doombull can take care of the horde of Saurus Warriors. Really, my horde of Gore should be able to take care of his Temple Guard unit as long as it's not buffed too much. And my Gore unit is wholly not up to the task of taking care of a Stegodon unless I can change my level 2 into a Mountain Chimera or something like that. So here's the right. Just went ahead and sacrificed the Harpies just because I didn't want the Warriors to charge my Doombull in case it would be better for me for the Doombull to help out with the Temple Guard unit. So, and I got a +1 strength and toughness buff on the gore unit, and other than that, I don't think I did a whole lot with my magic phase. Go to Lizardmen turn 3, and yeah, the Temple Guard charges in. I was actually very, very happy to see that. I am strength 5, toughness 5. I've got a ton of attacks, two attacks each on the front rank. I've got 3 ranks fighting. Usually I should be able to reroll to hit. I should just really be able to whittle that unit down, and I don't even care if I lose combat. I think I'm going to win that. His Stegodon failed the charge, and that's what made me so excited. The bad news is he's out of line of sight of my Doombull, so it was really bad positioning for the Doombull. But I do that sometimes. You notice the Salamanders rallied and are now back up in the fight, and he doesn't even charge the Harpies. He's just going to shoot at them. And here's this. Now during the magic phase again, with this Slaan, I know he's going to get spells off. So really, of what I consider the 3 Lore of Light buffs that I'm worried about, I just need to stop one of them to feel comfortable with this fight. I mean, I can't let him get off the Time Warp as well as the Light of Battle. I can deal with one or the other. The -1 to hit, I guess that's Phos Protection. That one I'm not too worried about because I can reroll to hit. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, that's all I'm worried about there. So in the magic phase, he gets off Phos Protection, and I just let it go. And I've got enough dice. I know I can stop. He can probably get 2 spells off, and I can stop one of them. So he casts the Light of Battle, and he rolled really well for it. So my thinking was, if I try to dispel it, there's a real good chance I'm not going to be able to, and he's going to get the Time Warp as well. But if I save my dice, I've got 5 dice to his 3, I can likely stop the Time Warp. So I let the second spell go through. He rolls 3 dice for the Time Warp, rolls double 6s. Darn it. So I end the magic phase with all 5 of my dispel dice, and he gets all 3 buffs on his Temple Guard unit. So I've got a lot of attacks, but I'm hitting on 6s because he's weapon skill 10 and I'm -1 to hit. So I'm hitting on 6s rerollable, and that's just tough. So over here it looks like that. I think the Stegodon charged my chariot, I fled, and then he redirected to my gore and then failed. Yeah, there's all 3 buffs. That's, oh, that hurt. I was so mad. Let's see, he killed a couple Harpies with shooting and I fled. That's not really going to affect much. And then after combat, yeah, he did 8 wounds to me, plus 2 wounds on my Battle Standard Bearer, and that's the one that really hurt. Because I was 3 in, he was able to get 3 guys wide attacking my BSB, and he put everybody on him. And he was hitting on 3s, wounding on 4s. He only needed 2 wounds. It actually wasn't that hard to do. So killing the BSB hurt. He did 8 wounds additionally. I only did 3, which, with those buffs doesn't surprise me. I was steadfast on a 9, but of course I failed it, and I ran as far as I could without going off the board. He didn't catch me, which I thought was nice. He ran far enough that now not only can my Doombull not see him, now my Minotaurs can't see him either. So that was just horrible, horrible placement on my part last time. The good news is my Gore can see them, and I know I got a level 2 with the Transformation of Kanan spell, and he's got a Power Scroll, so I can't use the Power Scroll for the beefed up version of that spell, but for the most part, that's the only thing I have going for me right now. I feel like I'm up against the ropes. My Doombull can handle the Horde, but if my small unit of Gore with my wizards can't handle the Temple Guard, then there's nothing. I'm going to be sunk probably. So we go to Beastmen turn 3. My Doombull charges the Saurus Warriors. My Gore charged the flank of the Temple Guard. My Minotaurs actually reform. I took this picture before I reformed them, and luckily my Gore Horde rallied. They needed a 10, but you never know with me if they're going to actually rally. So they rallied. So now, even if my wizards fail and the Temple Guard charges again, I'm okay with it. I mean, if he doesn't get all 3 buffs, I'm still in a good position. I'll have a lot of attacks. He's got relatively few guys. Hopefully I'll be okay. So here's my Doombull going in. Again, this is his role. He is perfect for this. And there are those guys. I purposely have the wizard, the level 2 on the left-hand side. He's out of combat, but if he changes to any kind of monster, he'll go too wide and he'll be touching him. So we go to the magic phase, and I think I rolled, whatever it was perfect, because I rolled like 5 or 6 power dice, enough to get the spell off, but low enough so that my opponent does not have many dispel dice. Because if I rolled a 12, that'd be awful. He could just save his dice for that one spell. So the bad news is, despite being leadership, I'm not leadership 9, I'm leadership 8. Despite being leadership 8, I fail my Primal Fury test. So being a Mountain Chimera is fantastic, but I really need the rerolls to make this work. I've got to kill every single Temple Guard, or it flat out doesn't work. I can tell you what happens. My Mountain Chimera goes. I don't get the rerolls to hit. I'm very, very unimpressed with the wounds I cause. I've got a Strength 4 breath weapon that kills some, but not many. And then my Gore attack, and when all's said and done, he still has 5 guys left. I mean, I killed relatively little. I think that's 6 wounds that I did. He had 5 guys left. He attacked me, I mean, whatever. And then I rolled Thunder Stomp, and I rolled a 5. And then I wounded all 5 and killed all of the Temple Guard. That was fantastic. The Doombull comes in here, kills an even 10, and wins combat, and it's just going to get nastier and nastier. These Source Warriors, it's going to take me 3 rounds of combat, but they're not going to survive. And over here, killing the last of the Temple Guard, he was on Snake Eyes, failed it, and we caught him. And it didn't matter, because if I didn't catch him, I was going to destroy him next turn anyway. And once that happened, my opponent just conceded. He was like, I've lost my Slaan, I lost my Temple Guard. Really, I agree. He really had no chance to win the game at that point. The Doombull was going to take care of the Source Warriors. The only thing he has left is a Stegodon, and I've got my Horde of Gore. I've got a Horde of Bestigore that hasn't even seen action yet, and then I've got Minotaur. So his Stegodon wasn't going to do anything, and easily going to net me the win. So it ended up being kind of a fast game once we were done with that. I thought it was kind of funny. That was just everything was going his way, dominating, until one spell went my way, and that's just all it took, and wiped him out. So anyway, interesting game. I hope you enjoyed it.